Hey everyone, welcome. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create this really natural and affordable and quick makeup look using only drugstore products. All of these products perform so beautifully on my 46-year-old, mature, less than perfect skin. So let's dive right into it. Before I get started on application, I wanted to give a little background on my skin. So I am 46 and I have quite a bit of sun damage on my skin. Unfortunately, I didn't start wearing sunscreen until I was in my mid to late 30s. And at that point, I was already dealing with the effects of the sun damage, which included the lines you can see on my forehead and my wrinkles and creasing. So this is a very realistic application on very real and mature skin. Let's get right into it. So the first thing that I would go in with would be some type of a concealer. And as I age, I find concealer to be problematic. I feel like it often ages me more than it helps me. I find it sticks in those lines and creases, and as soon as I smile or make any expressions, that product kind of dries and accentuates those lines. So I'm always on the hunt for something that really works on mature skin. The product I've been using lately isn't a concealer, it's like a foundation balm, and it's from Loreal. It's called the Age Perfect 4-in-1 Tinted Balm. I have it in the color 20 Fair. It's not going to give you full coverage by any means, but we are going for more of a natural look to begin with, so that's kind of the goal. So what I will do is I will actually go right in with my fingers with this product, and I will put it right underneath my eyes. I do have a small mirror here to make sure that I'm applying things correctly. And I will just go right under my eyes with a little bit. Again, this is not full coverage. This is just slightly brightening the under eye. And then I will let it set for maybe 20-30 seconds and let it soak in a little bit and dry down a tiny bit before I blend it out. If we're working on a quick application, then we're gonna wanna do something in that 20 seconds. So I will go straight in with my brow product. This is a wonderful brow product if you're looking for really simple and quick. It's from e.l.f. It's their Wow Brow, and I have it in the color neutral brown. It is just gonna enhance your brows. It's not gonna make it perfect by any means, but it has this really nice little spoolie on the end, and it makes the application really simple. So I'll go right into my brows and just brush that through a little bit to enhance what I already have. Get a little bit on your skin, just wipe it off. And just like that, your brows are done. Super quick and easy. Then I will go in to blend my under eye, and one of the primary blending tools that has been incredible for me as my skin ages in blending out areas that get creased is a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. This is from e.l.f., so it's super affordable. The thing with beauty blender sponges is you want to make sure you're using them damp. So run them under water, squeeze them out really good. Sometimes I'll actually squeeze it into a towel to make sure it's not wet. And then you can use it for any of your creamy products. So I'll go straight in and just do under my eyes like this. And make sure the product is blended in, just like that. And if you need to, if you feel like you got a little bit still under there, just use your ring finger and gently tap it. Sometimes after a minute or two, I'll feel like it has a little crease. So before it dries, I will just tap that in and it smooths it right out beautifully. The next thing I would go in with would be a foundation, and Foundation, again, can be really troublesome or really beautiful once you start to get texture on your skin. And this foundation I find to be such a fantastic product for mature skin, for any skin, but particularly as my skin ages, this is just such a beautiful product. So this is L'Oreal Infallible 32-hour Freshwear foundation. I apologize, the bottle is, I actually broke it accidentally. I dropped it and I didn't want to throw it out and waste it, so the cap actually isn't even on. But so it's a little bit messy looking. I have the color 450, which is really good, especially for my summer color right now. So I would go in with like probably about a pump and a half on my skin. And I would start just using my fingers and then go in with the Beauty Blender after that. So this gives really nice coverage while still leaving the skin breathable and looking really fresh. You can also build this product really easily. And just use that Beauty Blender to press the product into the skin and create a really natural look. Same thing on the other side. I'll do a little bit on my forehead. I don't want a lot of product on my forehead because I do have a lot of creasing up there and wrinkles, and I don't want extra product sticking there, and I don't need a lot of coverage on my forehead, so I'll just do enough to sort of blend the color in with the rest of my face. Now you also want to make sure you are going in a little bit next to your ears so you don't get a foundation line there, and down your jawline a little bit like this, just so you don't have this line of product right next to your ears and your chin. Now the beautiful part about this foundation is it is buildable. Kind of a trick for keeping your application natural is to do thin layers instead of one thick layer of product. If you put too much product on right away, it gets cakey and you look a little bit like a mask on your face. If you do a thin layer, blend it out like I've been doing, then if you want more coverage, which for me, sometimes I want a little more coverage right where I get very red or like I have a small pimple there, then I will go back in with a second layer on those specific areas only, not in the rest of my face. So I'll just do a tiny bit more where I have problems, and I will blend that in just on those spots. And that's your foundation. The next thing I would go in with would be a bronzer. And this bronzer has been, I have used it so long, couldn't even tell you how long. It's the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I have it in the color bronzer. How creative. But this is such a great bronzer. It doesn't get cakey looking, and you want to use like a really fluffy, lightweight brush. I can link something like this below. I think this might be e.l.f. And you want to just get the product right in there and then actually tap it off, because you can, again, always layer, but if you go in with too much at the start, it can get cakey looking. So I will just lightly, I'm not looking for something dramatic here. I'm just adding a little bit of color, and then I will go across my forehead and down my nose a little bit, just to give like a sun-kissed look to the face. Now, if you want to keep things really simple, you can actually use your bronzer as an eyeshadow, and you can call it good and just do that, or you can do more than that. It's just going to give you a very light hint of like a slightly darker color. It may not even pick up tremendously on camera, but in real life, it just adds a little bit to your eyelids. And if you're wanting to save money or if you're wanting to be really natural, then using this is a very simple way to enhance your eyes just a little bit. Now I will go in with something a little more, but you certainly don't need to. Then I would go in with blush, and this is a creamy blush. It's from Milani. It's their Cheek Kiss. I have it in the color 110, which is Nude Kiss. And because it's a creamy product, it's just so easy to apply and it looks really natural and a little dewy. And just put a little bit on each cheek. It looks really bright at first, but it blends in really, really well. And then if you get too much, or if you want to just blend things out, use that beauty sponge again and just go around the edges like this. The next thing I would do would be, if I wanted to be a little more dramatic, I would do some kind of a highlight liner type thing on my eyelids. And I actually just discovered this one. I saw it recommended by another YouTuber, and it's the Pixie Petra, and it is the Endless Silky Eye Pen, and I have it in the color Bronze Beam, and it's so pretty. I think it might be waterproof. Yes, water resistant. So it's really long wearing, I have found, but again, I have only been using this more recently, but I have found it to be really pretty. I will just lightly, we're not doing a dramatic look here, just lightly go across like an eyeliner type look, but because it's sort of a bronzy color, it just lightly outlines the eye. I don't know if you can see that, but it just gives it a little bit of enhancing the eyes and the color. So same thing on the other side. The next thing I would go in with would be mascara. And for me, I will always curl my lashes before mascara because my lashes are small and straight. And I feel like that enhances it a little bit. But if you've got great lashes, just skip this step. So I will do them usually one at a time and just curl them a little bit. I'll try not to scare you with this process. And then you can probably see the slight difference between them that just the curling did. And then I'll go in with my mascara. The mascara that I have been loving is the L'Oreal Paradise Big Deal. I will use it in the black brown color. I just find it to be a little less harsh on my skin tone. I will often actually go in and wipe some of the product off just because I don't like clumpy, super thick mascara. I like it more natural, but you know, you could do that with this product. And then I will just do a light application. And then I will go on the bottom a little bit, not a lot, just to sort of balance out some of the highlighting on the top. Just like that. You see the difference? And then I will do the same thing on the other side. If you get a little product on your skin like I just did, a great trick with mascara is let it dry completely before you start touching it, and then it will wipe right off like with a Q-tip versus smearing and smudging, which would happen if you did that when it was wet. Then I will go in with a powder, and powder on mature skin can be so problematic because I find it often like accentuates dryness and the texture and the creasing. I've been looking a long time for a good powder, and this drugstore one really is quite good. It's again the L'Oreal Infallible line, and it's called the Blur-fection. I have it in the color 10, which is pink light. And the key with powder is your application. So I will take the product and I will get some of it into the lid, and then I will take like a puff or the tip of your beauty sponge or a small brush, and I will go, this puff by the way is e.l.f. I'll leave it linked below, and you're going to go into that product, okay, like that. Do not go straight on your skin with that much powder because that's going to create that caking. Take it and actually tap it off on the back of your hand. You can always add more product. It's hard to take product away. And I'm just going to take that little tip and address the areas that for me tend to be problematic. So for me, it's under my eyes especially, and right in here, and a little bit on my forehead. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but by taking just a little bit under my eyes, if you can see the line here and the line here, it sort of blurs and masks that line. Now this line is a little more accentuated, I will acknowledge that, but the powder will blend that a little bit. So I'll do the same thing over here, and just tiny bit, little on my nose, a little on the tip of my forehead. And you may need to reapply partway through the day. It's really a very lightweight and very pretty product, and it will sort of soak in, and that dusty, superficial look initially will go away in a few minutes. It will just blend right in beautifully to your skin. Then I would go in with some kind of a lip product. I'm not a big lip person, lipstick or bright lips. I like very natural. And so for me, I do have a drugstore recommendation. It's the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. I have it in the color Gummy Bear, which is kind of hilarious. But this is a really pretty and natural color. This product looks pretty. It gives it a nice gloss to the lips. However, it's not very moisturizing. So I will give an alternative that isn't drugstore, gives the same look, but is way more moisturizing. It's the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask in the color Grapefruit. And this is quite a bit more expensive, but this container, this tub, I don't know, probably a year lasts me. So I prefer this, but this is a nice drugstore alternative if you prefer just sticking with the drugstore price. A little shine and a tiny bit of color. I shouldn't talk while I do this. And that's it. I don't know if you can see the pretty shine. And just a little bit of color. And that's the final look. Pretty quick, pretty easy, very affordable, products that just perform so well on my mature skin, and they last really well throughout the day, but they just look so natural, I think. And you can do more or less depending on how much makeup you like on your skin. I hope this was helpful and informative to you today. If it was, subscribe, give it a like. If you'd be interested in seeing my quick skincare routine that I use before I apply my makeup, I would be happy to do that, to film that. Leave it in the comments below. Let me know if that's something that interests you. I feel like the base that you put your makeup on makes a huge difference. So let me know if you'd like to see that. Thanks for watching and for giving up your time, and I hope it was helpful to you in some way. Have a great day.